Yeah, so it'll be a long story. So,
Hey,
we have an hour, right? So I was born in Indiana County, Pennsylvania, in southwestern Pennsylvania, and that's a part of Appalachia that I didn't know was part of Appalachia until I was in my 30s, and I had gone back to school after my wife and I had moved to Arizona, and then we moved to Paris, France. We lived there, and we moved back to the Laurel Highlands of Pennsylvania, and I went back to school to get my PhD. And I started studying Appalachian literature, and it suddenly dawned on me, like I think it does for a lot of people in Pennsylvania once they find out, is that the greater bulk of our Commonwealth lies officially designated by Congress in the region called Appalachia. And culturally and economically, we have a lot in common with places farther south that we never think of ourselves as being part of. So,
mhm.
as a writer, as a creative writer, that's the world I write within. My last book was called Appalachian North, which was a memoir about growing up north of the Mason-Dixon line and figuring out your Appalachian. It was about a brain tumor. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2016, which is quite a shock when you're about 40 years old, and going through surgery and radiation treatments. And then thinking about the metaphors of erosion and extraction that matter to us culturally and politically. That
Mhm.
since the beginning of our region, Appalachia and places, so I grew up in coal country, now I'm in gas country, or timber country, or industrial country, you exist to be extracted.
Yeah.
So the relationship that we have to the landscape is the same relationship that the broader country has to us as human beings, and that has a lot to do with why we have the raw economic deal that we have. So that's sort of where I'm coming from. And then as a writer, I understand, and what I teach is that one of the ways I talk about it on the campaign trail is that we live the stories that we tell,
Mhm.
or the stories that we tell about ourselves. So if we keep telling stories that we don't deserve something, then we will never get it. Or if we keep telling stories about a region being declined with no new ideas, it'll continue to be that. So I think we can, in a way, write our ways to
Yeah.
new futures if we think about the narratives that we're living that we didn't write ourselves.